can convict Assange, they can convict Tucker Carlson and Alex and anyone who exposes their corruption. And then what? Immediately following the Supreme Court's decision to recognize the Second Amendment, they overturned Roe v. Wade, another constitutional victory. See children as a commodity, a slave. Our American birthright applies to every living American. As revolutionary as it may be, the Bill of Rights is nothing more than a lawful remedy that we inherited. It merely recognizes our natural freedom. To actually secure this freedom requires the courage and the will of the people. Our government's job is not to change our Constitution. Their job is to secure it and abide by it, which is what only one Supreme Court judge seems interested in doing. In the recent Supreme Court arguments, the majority of judges expressed their concern that their decision would be used to overturn other recent decisions, specifically constitutional laws pertaining to contraception, sodomy, and Judge Thomas alone made it clear that these decisions should be overturned. And he's right, because all of these perverse concessions are nothing more than attacks on our Constitution. And if Americans were a serious and righteous people, we would preserve our American birthright for generations to come.
The Constitution is, they have to know what the First Amendment is. They have to have some idea who the people were that died at Shiloh, what Okinawa was about, who Andrew Jackson was, who Lincoln was, who Harriet Tubman was. If you don't have models of your past, you're going to forget it. We are living in a country that has no resemblance to the visions of the Founding Fathers in the first 200 years of our history. We're losing that ability with tribal politics, wokeness, cancel culture. If you lose the idea of citizenship, and if Americans don't see themselves as unique citizens of the United States, then you don't have a country. The people who control us in the corporate boardroom, in Hollywood, in professional sports, the people on Wall Street, the people in Silicon Valley, they have found a way to siphon the profits from 7 billion people on the planet that have an iPhone or an email account or a Google search to an area of about 80 square miles. If we don't wake up, the elite who don't believe in the American experiment will hijack our government. If we're aware of what they're doing and aware of the perilous status of citizenship, then we become masters of our own destiny. If we don't, then the citizenship that we've known for centuries will die.
Nothing to hide as justification for violating your rights, then you have nothing to worry about. You know where that phrase came from? Goebbels from the Nazi era. Nothing to hide? That means there is no privacy.
I left Iran to come here, and now I can't have security or privacy? All we want is just fucking live our lives. Half of us wouldn't even give a shit if we could all be left alone. It's my right by birth to have privacy.
They want to own you. That's a power relationship, superior, inferior.
If I know every single thing about you, about what you think, how you reason, what your fears are, what you're planning, what you're doing, and you know nothing about me because I'm shielding my behavior behind a wall of secrecy, I have incredible power over you. The power imbalance between us is immense because I can now manipulate you, I can threaten you, I can alter your behavior in all sorts of ways, I can anticipate your behavior, I can prevent you from doing things that you're planning, I can prepare in defense of what you're doing, I can always stay many steps ahead of you.
Trolling is a rhetorical style that exposes somebody else's personality flaws by eliciting a reaction from them that shows the true nature of their character.
This mentality, this pathological, you have to understand the mindset. You have to understand the psychology behind those who want to know everything. That means anything hidden, anything private, anything sovereign is a direct threat to the surveillance state.
The capacity of this agency to spy on people and to know everything that they do is so extreme and awesome. At any moment, pure totalitarianism could be imposed and the American people would have no place to hide.
Security and surveillance state is put into place in order to keep a population captive, and they now have all the mechanisms to do it. Absolute iron control over a restive population, so should the population become restive.
The United States unchained itself fully from the Constitution. People still don't fully appreciate it. Talk about mass surveillance, all those stuff. No, they've unchained. This is an alien form of government. It's completely anathema to democracy. It's completely anathema. But obviously the government's not going to come out and say, hey, guess what? We're under national emergency conditions.
Every time they come after someone like myself and the wealth they have, it damages them. To the extent that these things happen and they get publicized, the population is antagonized. Now, I didn't get into this to stay out of prison. I'm still trying to figure out, how I can be most effective from here.
I'm going to continue hitting large companies and institutional powers. I'm not going to take no shit from nobody. Fuck them if they can't take a joke.
Jews fooled the Germans because they got to Germany and they're very serious, rigid people, and the Germans were like, oh, they're just like us, and so they got this great success in Germany. And then the Germans figured out, oh, they took over our banks and it's hyperinflated our currency. Fuck these people. And perhaps the punishment was disproportionate to the crime.
An asshole and highly offensive. Like, holy shit, all right, so let's get to work.
They took your home. They took your freedom. They tried to take your courage. Now we know you cannot be stopped.
I grew up in a normal family. I'm from Arkansas. I'm a high school dropout. There's nothing particularly special about me. And there's nothing particularly special about any of us. But together we can form a movement. I am the 99%.
The name is based on a Danish short film called Gay Niggers from Outer Space.
The gay niggers come from the planet Anus, and they are much, much more intelligent than any other creature in the universe.
When Hurricane Sandy swept through New York, they posted a bunch of pictures on Twitter of black people looting and stuff from Sandy Loot Crew is what they called it, the hashtag. Tons of media outlets picked it up. If people were tweeting out pictures of white people in suits stealing TVs, the media would actually investigate it and be like, all right, this is bullshit, instead of just reporting on nonsense without any forethought.
Trolls in trouble. Computer hackers find themselves on the wrong side of the law after breaching AT&T security.
I mean, I guess there's a blurry line between Goat Security, was it a troll or was it a hack? But I mean, the name Goat Security invokes that terrible image that ruined my childhood.
He named his company Goatsy Security, so if you know what Goatsy is, G-O-A-T-S-E, I'm not going to explain it.
Hey, there's a gaping security flaw here.
No, Mommy, make it stop!
Goatsy Security, who are these guys? And they're Googling Goatsy, and they're getting the Goatsy picture.
They're called Goatsy Security. Is that my pronouncing that correctly?
Yeah, that's right.
We're analyzing coverage from Bloomberg, Goatsy, The Register, and Forbes.
Goatsy Security would expose the gaping security holes in your systems.
A corporation like AT&T and Apple, The only way you could really get to them was literally to send it to the media and make a gaping asshole mockery of it.